Hello everyone, welcome back to our Talent Beginner course. In today's session, we will see how can we connect to a database using Talent Studio and then do some data management and data manipulation operations from Talent jobs onto the database tables. All right? Yes. For a quick recap, let's see what we have done in our previous modules. We have tried installing our Talent Studio. We have downloaded it from the Talent website. It's the Talent Open Studio for data integration 7.3 version. And then we have created our first project, that's nothing but the project Talent. And then in the project, we have started with 2 jobs initially. We have created a couple of them. The first job is to print a message on our console using our T message box component. And the second job, we have tried reading few of the input files, data from the input files with different delimiters, and then writing the data to the output file. Also, printing the data onto the T-log row, using the T-log row to the console. And well, we have also seen how can we edit the schema and how can we convert the delimiters from one of the source delimiter to the target delimiter while we are writing to the output file. We have used T input file delimited for reading and T output file delimited for writing to the output files. And well, we have also seen what are the common mistakes or common errors that we can make while creating the jobs for reading and writing, and why do we have to give the schema correctly to avoid any data issues while we write to the output file. And we have also seen how can we give the best practices by renaming the jobs and giving the descriptions and all of that. I think that was pretty much clear to start with, and I believe you all have installed the Talent Open Studio for data integration in your local machines and started working hands-on. Well, yes. So as you all know that this is the palette, or this is the palette area, and this is the designer area, and all the different views that we are seeing in the Talent Studio. Well, these are all empty because we don't have a job ready to be designed here. Let's go ahead and create a job. Before that, let me tell you, for this session and for our next sessions, we would be using MySQL Workbench for connecting to a database and then creating tables and extracting data from the tables and writing the data to the tables. All that we would be doing on a MySQL Workbench. If you don't have a MySQL Workbench installed in your machines, please go ahead and do that. It's quite simple. You can go to MySQL website and download the MySQL Workbench Studio, which is compatible to your local machines, and have it running in your system. Or probably once you have completed this session, you might also try with any other database systems that is available in your local machine. For our session, we will be using MySQL Workbench. All right. Okay. Before that, let's go ahead and create our job. Create a job, and this would be for reading data, right? Let's say this is job underscore database underscore job underscore, let's say connect underscore db. Purpose is to connect to a database. Okay, and then description to connect to a db and perform operations on tables. All right, let's go ahead and click on finish. There we have the job. Yes, we have the job ready. Yes. So what would be our first component? First of all, to initiate any job, we want to understand what would be our primary components that we want to design in our job. So in this session, we would see how can we connect to our database, and then how can we read the data from an existing table in the database. So here there are 2 different components that we need for performing this operation. First of all, since I know that we would be working for MySQL database, I'd go ahead and type this as the MySQL connect. So this is the component that is used to connect to a MySQL database. So go ahead, add this component. In case you're not sure of what are the available components that are there while working with databases, you can come back to this palette see the groups that are available, and you can see that there is a group called databases. And in this, there are a couple of subgroups that are available like DB common and DB specifics. In this DB common, we have various components which are used for establishing connections, which are used for reading data, writing data, and all of it. And what is this common is, this components are common to all database systems. So this, if you see, it's a TDB connection. From this, you can always connect to a MySQL database, or you can connect to Oracle database, Postgres. All of this is a common connection that it is there, and you can customize it according to the database that you want to connect. All right, I hope that is clear. Let me repeat that back. So we have, when you come to the group in the palette, there are two set of groups. One is called DB common and another one is called DB specifics. That means all these components are common to most of the databases that are available. However, you can always customize the component with the component tab that it is available according to your database that you're trying to connect or that you're trying to work upon. Whereas DB specifics have the list of components that are specific to that particular database. Let's say I want to connect to a Hive. So this is a Hive connection component. I cannot connect to Hive using a TDB connection that it is there in the DB common. So for this, I have to specifically choose a T-Hive connection, because for this, we have to pass the Hadoop properties and all of that. That is how these are available. So you can go ahead and search according to your requirements and see which component would suit to the business need that you're looking for, or to the design that you want to establish. So let's come back to this TDB connection. We go ahead and select MySQL. Since I know it's MySQL, when I do a TMySQL connect, this automatically takes this up as MySQL. If I have to do a T Oracle connection, so you can see that this automatically chosen a Oracle. Okay, in case you come up this kind of warning to install an additional jars that are available for this particular component, go ahead and click on install. Talend would by default connect to the website and get all the jars, and it will install them automatically. All right. So now delete this, and we have the connection. We have to update all these properties here. We will come back to this again. And what do we want to do? We want to read data from the table. So for that, I want to give a TMySQL input. If you see TMySQL input, the purpose of this component is to read a MySQL table and extract the fields from that table using a SQL query. So this exactly does what I want to do now. So I'll have this in the designer window. And once I read this, I want to see them back in my console. So here, this component is used to retrieve the data, and you would need a component to display the data or to write the data to an output file. So that's how it is, right? These are the steps. Step 1 is to establish a connection. Step 2 is to pass a query. If you're doing this query in a MySQL, you would see the results set directly on the MySQL console, Workbench console. Whatever the studio that you're trying to connect, or whatever the tool that you're using to connect to a database, you would see the results on the console. But since this is a job, we want the data to be retrieved and displayed either onto the console or can be written to an output file. So for this job, I want this to be displayed to a console. So I am taking a tlogRow component, and I would link this from the DB input to tlogRow. Okay, so now we have the components ready. We see a warning here because it does not have a schema. It does not have details of which SQL connection or MySQL component connection that it is referring to. What we have to do is we have to pass all these parameters and then link up this to this DB connection.